the whole premise of everything we're doing today is answering the question, if then. So if you get this look you didn't expect, then what are you doing to answer that? And you could do probably multiple sessions. And if I can talk Coach Holmes into it, we may get him on here for multiple sessions. But today we just picked 2 plays, and we're going to try to walk through all of the if-thens with those plays. All right, so today I'm going to be spending everything on if and then. And so I've been doing this a bunch for myself, and so I figured I would kind of just share it with everybody. So everything you do, I think, offensively, and I think that's one of the reasons I love the elements of the wing tee that we run. I'm sure Coach Holmes will speak to it for when he runs it, is that it's all built on answers. Everything is built on, if they do this, then we do this. And I'm a pretty simple guy. And so to me, that helps me tremendously to know, if the defense does whatever, then I'm going to do these next things. And so in the buck sweep specifically, here's what you have to have built into your offense. There's 2 different ways we try to build in answers when we're running the buck for the if-then questions. One is we try to say within the play. I don't want a defense to give me a formation or an alignment or a blitz or whatever that's going to take me out of my favorite play, which is buck. Okay, so there are obviously better sets to run it against, but I never want them to be able to dictate and take me out of it. So I'm going to build in answers inside of the play. So that's the first part of what I'm going to go through with you guys today, is built-in answers inside of the play. The second part about the wing tee offense, which I love, is that it's all about deception. And so, okay, the other way I can answer you're going to stop buck sweep is I can go to all of these series-based plays, series football. That's what the wing tee is known for. If you do this, then we come back and we do this. And so it's 2 different ways I can answer people trying to load up and stop buck sweep. I can answer it with adjustments that are built in the play, and then I can answer it with, okay, here's my counters, my play actions, my deception type plays. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. The first part of it is going to be going through fixing the play, because I'm a big believer in, instead of installing a lot of extra plays, let's be really good at the plays that we have in and have in all these built-in answers. So inside of the buck, there are, in my mind, there are 3 problems a defense can give you. They can give you issues on the play side. And there's a couple issues I'm going to walk through. They can give you issues off of the backside, or they can give you issues through the middle, penetration in the middle, blitzers, whatever it is. Those are the 3 ways that I've seen people try to stop us when running buck sweep. So I'm going to roll through those with you guys today. Really quickly, this is not a complete buck sweep seminar. I've got a ton of drill stuff, but that's not what this is about. But I do want to point out, whenever you're running a play, you need to be very good at teaching the details of it. I'm sure Coach Holmes probably will agree when he goes, but you want to make sure you want to be an expert at what you do. And in order to do that, you can only do so many things. So kind of a warning of what's coming up with a shortened off season and football season. Be very careful about putting too many things in. And instead of putting a lot in, spend your time with answers of what you're going to run. So for us, we know we're going to run buck. We're spending our time now coming up with, if the defense does this, then we do this. This is probably the drill a lot of guys come to me for, so I just want to show it quickly. Not wanting to spend a ton of time on drills, but I wanted to give you one. If you're going to run buck, figure out drills that work for your kids. This is one we've really enjoyed and come up with. We call it the hurdle drill. These are all 9th graders right here, so young kids working it. But we're going to work to be experts at running buck, at getting our eyes where they need to be, at having a towel in the guy's back pocket that we're working on grabbing, so that we're working all of the finer details of it. So a lot of times as coaches, when we say if then, if the defense does, then we do this, it's easy to say if they stop our play, we go away from it. But that's not my mindset. My mindset is we're going to run it. You cannot stop it. So because of that, here's some of the answers we want to run. So again, not a session just on my towel drill here, but I wanted to show that in there. As we move on, we go to bodies, live bodies, and we move guys around. If you're going to run buck sweep, I know you guys know this, the defense is not going to line up in the same place every time. So we go to bodies. We go from hurdles to bodies. We move them from a 9 technique to an outside linebacker. We work our inside backer moving different directions. So, again, this is not a series here on how to run the buck, but it is giving you basic things you need to know. So if you're going to run buck sweep, here's the if-thens. Play side issues. I need to have answers for play side issues. So here are what I consider to be the main play side issues you'll see if you run buck sweep, okay? First issue you're going to see is a really good 9 technique. So you're going to have a guy over there that's maybe better than your wing, okay? We don't like to say that, but that's the reality. My wing for us is a running back. That 9 technique may be a 220-pound D end. You know, that's a problem. How are we going to handle that? Outside linebackers that are blowing us up, maybe they have us outnumbered or they're shooting inside. So here are our answers that we build in for it. To a 9 technique, one of our favorite ones we just call bypass. I just didn't want to bang my head against a wall. So we tell our wing, that guy all night, we couldn't block him. We knew watching film that was going to be a problem. We knew we got into the game. It proved true. It was a problem. And so we sent our wing onto the inside backer and just kicked him. Said, okay, he's coming up field and causing all kinds of penetration. Let's just leave him alone and kick him, and then we'll wrap underneath him. So that's one answer we have. All right, let's leave him alone, and we'll kick him, and we'll go. All right, if he's a heavy squeezer, so let's say the guy wants to squeeze really hard, we're probably not going to run that because we don't need that answer. But it's an answer we have now. We can go to any game. Sorry, let me go back here. We can go into any game, and we have this available. Our kids understand. We call bypass. This is what we're doing. I'll run it slow here so you can see. We're just going to leave that kid alone and allow him to get kicked. We're still running buck sweep. We just now have built in an answer for our kids if that kid's better. I learned a long time ago, you need to teach kids where it's okay to lose. That sounds weird, but what that means is this. You need to teach kids, hey, I know you weigh 160 pounds, and that guy weighs 320 pounds. And so physically, that's not good, but can you just win right here? You can let them go upfield, or you can let them go wherever, but don't let them do this. And when you give your kids those built-in answers, they play with confidence, and they understand that you're giving them a realistic chance to win. This kid is playing head up my tight end now and blowing both of them up. Now what do? All right, well, screw it. Let's just double him. All right, so we'll call dubs. Tight end going to keep his eyes inside, but we're going to get vertical push with our tight end, and we're going to collapse him down with our wing, and we're going to double him. Okay, so get a double team on that kid and get him blown up. And now you see what happened. That kid was killing us. My wing couldn't get there. We double him. He's moved 6 yards off the ball, and now we got what we wanted. Okay, and so that's another possible answer for a 9 technique. So you can ignore him, okay, and kick him. That's bypass. You can double him, or you can – and the best part about this is we'll do all of these inside the same game. So that kid now is confused. Do I come upfield? Do I squeeze? Where's it coming from?
The key to what I'm going to talk about with you guys today is having a system. And that's what Coach Moore has given us that I've carried on with and tried to expand on as defenses have changed. We are, without question, a tremendous what-if football team. That's what I'm about, and I think the reason that has evolved into this is, guys, I've been running the wing tee since 1976 as a high school football player. So as you study this game and you study your film, you start to figure out what are your problems. That's the number one thing you have to identify is what are my problems? And then once I know what my problems are, do I have an answer to fix that? Now, as a wing tee coach, I think what you're figuring out, especially if you're new to this, you trade and get 3 game films. And they ain't playing a wing tee team in any of them. Everybody's spread. So what you prepare for and what you look at as to what you actually line up against on Friday night is often quite different. So you've got to be able to what if to keep things going, okay? So there's the information about how to get a hold of me. And what we're going to talk about today is the tackle trap, okay? We have more variations to the tackle trap than Carter's got little liver pills, man. And here's the deal. The reason that we feel like that we need those variations, okay, is my offense philosophy is not true to the Delaware wing T. When the Delaware wing T people came out with their system, man, there's a lot of things we face today that they didn't have to deal with. If you went back and looked at the original book written by Evashevsky and Nelson, guys, there was no 3-4 defense. Oklahoma had not invented the 50. There was no pro 4-3 or college 4-3. You had a 6-1, but you didn't have a 4-3. And you didn't have a 3-5. And the thing about the Delaware system in general is they ran every play, excluding their fullback trap, with one blocking scheme. One way to run the buck sweep, one way to run the Sally, one way to run the power sweep. It was one way because they didn't have to face as many as the different things. So with that understanding, I used to be a defensive coordinator long before I became a head coach and took over the offensive side. As a defensive coach, I was under the belief that big plays happen on the perimeter. You don't give up big plays generally between the tackles. The home run plays happen on the perimeter or they throw the football over the top. So I did not want to put my most explosive back at fullback like Delaware did. Now, I understood. My fullback always had more carries at the end of the year than my halfbacks did, my right wing or my left wing. But they were more 6- and 8-yard carries and a whole lot less 60-yard carries. So we put our most explosive back in those wingback positions. Now, if I could trap you with my fullback game, there's no reason I can't trap you with my tackle trap. It's still a trap. It's still the scheme. The blocking scheme is happening. And now my home run hitter has the opportunity on a trap play to go to the house. So with that understanding, we determined, and that's where a lot of our variations long ago started becoming a major part of our offense. I'm not going to let you, by how you line up or how a kid is playing a technique, eliminate from us our tackle trap, okay? I want to hit just some technique real quick on this tackle trap because after we get into this, it's all going to be drawings of blocking series and talking about why, okay? Number one, quarterback is a reverse pivot, okay? When he reverse pivots, his first step should hit basically right down on the midline, okay? His second step as he continues to reverse pivot, okay, is moving toward the halfback, and it's an underneath handoff. When I hand the football off, the same as our belly pass, our ride pass, our bootleg pass, we want our quarterback to be at a 6 yards depth behind the tackle's alignment as he carries out his fake for the counter pass. The fullback, and men, this is key. And we're going to have some variations here in a minute when we're not able to get this done. Your fullback's aiming point has to be at the inside foot of the pulling tackle. He's got to be able to get his head inside of that tackle who's squeezing hard down inside or pinching down inside on the snap, because if you don't secure him, he's in a position to cause a fumble or create a negative play on your tackle trap. So that angle of the fullback is extremely important. His heels are at 4 yards deep. Our fullback always sets the depth of our series. So the fullback's heels are at 4 yards, which gives him the best opportunity to get his head inside that 4 or 5 technique. Now, because we run the veer and because we run the tackle trap, truthfully, very, very well, and people work hard to stop that against us, man, with that 5 technique squeezes like crazy whenever our tackle releases inside for a down block or to a pull. So that gives us some issues as we're moving into that. The ball carrier, Coach Kempsky, when I used to sit in there and listen to him at the Glacier clinics over and over, used to always take his marker and he would lay it down and he would say when that halfback hits that hole, his shoulders have got to be square to the line of scrimmage. He's got to be hitting it north and south. That is a major, major key. If a lot of you are running your counter, here's what's happening. Your guy's taking his jab step and then he's running at an angle to that hole. When that's occurring, man, you're reducing his ability to cut to the right, to stay straight ahead, or cut to the left. Jeremy, that was a nice kiss, man. I'm proud for you. That was pretty good. You can go on, smile, Coach. All right. The wing back who's coming around in motion, okay? He's leaving on the S in our set and our snap count, and his job is to turn up and log the defensive end like he would if we were running the tackle trap pass. Here are the things we think we need to be able to understand. And a lot of times, as I mentioned, we've got to go back and we've got to look at how they've played us in the past. Not how they played the 3 spread teams that we got trade film on. How have they played us in the past? But if you don't have that information, you've got to be able to get that information relayed to you in the course of the game to know what you need to do. Number one, what's the depth they're playing their linebackers? You remember we said that tackle has got to be able to get to the first linebacker from the center. Well, if he's at 4 yards deep, man, that's not a problem. But now we're playing a 4-3 team or a 4-4 team, and the linebackers are cheated up 2 yards off the ball. Now that can become a problem for us with that tackle being able to get to that linebacker. So we need to know their depth. We need to understand what their philosophy is with their defensive line. If you play our 4-3, we're a 4-3, but we're playing it like shade 50 technique. We're backed off the ball, we're reading the hat, we're squeezing down blocks, and we're spilling traps. Some teams that are in the 4-3 are on the shoulder pad edge tip, and they're blowing and going. They're not concerned with keeping offensive linemen off a linebacker. So what is their philosophy there? Okay, we need to know, are they trying to slant with our motion? A lot of teams that defend the wing tee, they're coming out and they're going to say, we're going to slant to the tight end wing. Unless the wing goes in motion, and the minute he goes in motion, they make a call and everybody tries to slant opposite. And you can determine that in your film. If you don't know it going into the game, then simply my guy who coaches my centers and guards is the person responsible to identify that on Friday nights. Okay. And then all you got to do is tag the counter and say, no motion. We know which way they're going to be slanted if we don't send it with motion. Okay. And the last thing that we want to know is, how do they adjust to our unbalanced formations? Now we'll get into this, and I'll say it now and we'll jump into it. Man, all of our base rules and everything are tremendous against everything that we see, with the exception, the 3-5 will not, your basic rules on any internal run play have issues. And the issues are, you have 5 blockers and they have 6 defenders. I didn't say they shut it down with your basic rules. But what I'm telling you is, if both those stack outside linebackers are willing to fit inside, you've got center through tackle to block. That's 5 people. They got 2 defensive ends and those and 3 linebackers. They got 6 people. So you've got to have answers for that. That's what we're talking about here. So if, in that scenario, if I can go to a 2-4 unbalance and they'll slide down 1 man, I'm blocking an even front now. I'm back to positives in numbers. Okay. So there's your what if and some of the things we think we want to look at.
Coaches, Rick Stewart with All Access Coaching, where we're all about coaches helping coaches. Thanks for watching the video. And I've got to ask, please hit the subscribe and like button below. The like button really helps us with valuable data as to what videos to make and upload in the future to help you out. And the subscribe button will notify you when we upload new content to the channel. This channel is not specific to an offense or a defense. It's not even specific to Rick Stewart. I fly over the country filming college coaches and state championship coaches about their offenses, about their drills, about practices, about defense, about program building, team building, fundraising, and weight training. It's all about coaches helping coaches. So thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe and like below. And as always, better today, but never as good as tomorrow.